So everything kind of got canceled throughout the Christmas time. And my girlfriend had a
Oh.
really great idea to do Christmas grams
Mm,
last Christmas. So I ended up doing like this thing where someone could hire me and I would either go to their doorstep or
uh-huh.
they could send me to someone else's doorstep
Yeah.
and I would sing 3 Christmas songs. So
Yeah.
like a Christmas gram. And
Oh,
it was awesome. Like I did, I think 50 of them within like a 1 week period right before Christmas.
in a week?
And
50 a week?
yeah,
Did you even
in
sleep
one
at
week.
all? Like,
Oh,
that's
it
like,
was awesome. Like, because I would go to a house and like someone would hire me to go to their grandmother's house. Cause in Canada, like, or in Alberta specifically, like, we weren't allowed to have Christmas with our family. Like, everything was really shut down. So
wow.
everybody was sad, especially the seniors. Like, they
Yeah.
couldn't see any of their family. So it was really, really nice to be able to sing for family members who couldn't see their family. And they were, a lot of them were all alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really special. And what would happen is I would sing for them and then they would say, well, oh, like, can you go to my, my uncle's house or my friend's house? And I'd say, oh, sure. And be like, oh, it's like $50. And they're like, sure, here. And then I would go, so I go house to house to house.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm going to be doing that again this Christmas. And
Welcome to the Musician Secrets podcast. Today I have singer-songwriter from Canada with me. I hope I don't butcher his name, but Steven Sware, right?
nice.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. It was really cool because I found, I think it was Fired Up. I found it through a Spotify playlist and I heard the song. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I have to like reach out. Hopefully he wants to be on here. So thank you
Oh,
for,
that's awesome.
the time. It's like your only day off, you said, right? After like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I'm looking forward to it. This will be a ton of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope so, you never
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had a blast so far, so I think this will be good. For people that don't know who you are, just introduce yourself. Not real quick because you have all the time in the world, because we just talked
Yeah.
about you have more than a minute to introduce.
Perfect.
Yeah. So as far as you
Uh,
go back, basically what got you into music and to
okay.
where you're now.
Sweet. Well, I am 25 now. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Um, I grew up in a smaller town just outside of Edmonton, like only like 15 minutes away, but I was born and raised there and I started when I was about 5. I have 2 older brothers. So competition was really, really
Wow.
big in our household.
I
So
bet.
oh yeah, so when my oldest brother, he decided, oh, I want to take guitar lessons, my other brother and I were like, well, now we want to as well.
And now we have to take
So
them as
we
well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we all started taking guitar lessons when we were super young. Um and then my mom made it into a chore.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh.
we all quit pretty short after. We all hated it. So we quit and then being from Canada, I played hockey pretty much my whole life and in junior high I started playing guitar again for the school band.
Yeah.
The music teacher found that I played guitar when I was a lot younger, and he's like, "Well, we need
What?
someone." So that's when kind of the big music career really took off. Was in
Yeah.
grade 6 or grade 5, joining the school band. So,
Oh, that's funny.
uh, and I hated it again because it was just like really boring stuff. And
Yeah.
just throughout junior high, I kind of took guitar lessons here and there, and then going to high school, my oldest brother ended up quitting hockey. And
Uh-huh.
it was a real shock to my other brother and I because we're like, well, our whole plan was to get into the NHL. Like,
Yeah.
we're
What are
from
you doing?
Canada, we're playing, yeah.
Yeah.
And we realized, oh my God, we might not make it.
Yeah.
So going into high school, I actually quit hockey and I wanted to do something else. So I started taking vocal lessons and
Uh,
taking a lot more guitar lessons and stuff. So I really started when I was like 14 or 15, and I started playing at um, like coffee shops and stuff like that.
yeah.
And so it's been about 10 years that I've been performing. And actually, the very first show that I played, I was like practicing in my bedroom, like 'cause I
Uh,
was really nervous about it.
yeah.
And in Fort Saskatchewan, that was my little hometown, we had Fort Sask Got Talent, which was like a little like competition thing. And they had it at their brand new like amphitheater,
Yeah.
which was like massive. It was like 1,000 seats for this little town. And I asked my dad if I could audition for it, and he's like, and my parents were both like, I don't know about that. And looking back now, they were just really nervous for me, and they wanted
Yeah.
to like protect me from
Yeah.
just getting like crapped on pretty much. And my personality is like, if someone tells me I can't do something, then I'm going to do it even more.
Yeah. Like,
So I I
I'll
got
show
my dad to
you.
just drive me. Yeah, I got my dad to drive me, and he kind of came in and he like sat down in the back, and he's like real nervous. And uh I auditioned, and like within the first line they were like, "Yeah, you're in. Like it's all good." And they were excited to have me. So
Nice.
from yeah, and from there, like I was like 14 or 15, and about a year later I recorded my first EP, which is called Trees, which is very embarrassing to listen
I'm like,
back to
it's not
now. And
on Spotify. I haven't seen it.
yeah, that's because it's on Apple Music and I can't take it down. I
Oh.
don't know how to take it down. It won't let me. So it's like forever stuck on Apple Music.
All
Oh my
right.
god.
I know where to
And
look for it now. Okay.
yeah. And so I released that when I was like 15 or 16. And um shortly after that I started playing with a couple other guys in our school, and we actually formed a band. And at the beginning it was called the Mankind, and we did like decently well. Like we won this radio competition for $10,000. We got to play at this big it's called Taste of Edmonton, so it's like a big food um festival in Edmonton here.
Mhm.
And from there we got to record our first EP, which was awesome. We recorded it with some really like high end producers here in Edmonton. And
Yeah.
from there we got to open for a band called Mariana's Trench, which is like a really big pop band from Edmonton. And we got to play um, at the SaskTel Center, which is in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Mm.
And that was wild. That was the first time that I got to play at an arena, and it was 12,000 people. Like it was awesome. That was
Wow.
definitely the biggest show that I've played so far.
Yeah.
And
Were
then
you
right
nervous at
after,
all? Like,
oh
was
yeah,
just
oh
imagine
it
it,
was
12,000 people is like nuts.
oh it was so much fun. Like it's by far like the feeling that I'm trying to chase probably for the rest of my life, is that feeling. And but it was awesome because like the lead singer of the band, he like of Mariana's Trench, like the headlining band, they came and he sat side stage and watched us. He actually introduced us to the crowd, which was really, really cool. And
Wow.
um, he sat side stage with our manager, and he was like, wow, these guys are awesome. And we had a lot of positive feedback from him, which was unbelievable to have, a positive
Yeah.
reaction from someone that big in Canada. And then uh, shortly after that, we got to open for a band called Prozac, which was really, really big in like 1999. They had a really big hit.
Hmm.
So we got to play a sold out show again, which was like 5,000 people in this little club.
Hmm.
That was even more insane. It felt like, because it was like everybody was crushed together.
Yeah, it's like a
Um,
smaller space, right? So it feels like a
oh
lot of
yeah,
people. Yeah.
and everybody was like screaming the whole time. I've never had like that kind of reaction before to our own music, and it was insane. And then I think the next day we quit as a band. We had a big falling out, and
No
that
way.
was it.
Oh,
Yeah. And then
I'm sorry. That's.
it
Yeah.
was hilarious because like a month later, we found out that we won this other grant to do a music video.
Oh
So
no,
we
we're
had to
like,
do a music video
oh, so
for a
you did
song
the
that we're
music
like,
video? You
yeah,
did it, even though you're like, no,
yeah,
we're done.
yeah. We had to because we were like contractually obligated because we won this grant. Um, and then I moved to Toronto, which is like after that, that was in the summer of like 2017, and then in the fall of 2017, I moved to Toronto for a few months and took this program. Toronto from Edmonton to Toronto, driving was I want to get it right, just because it'd be really embarrassing if I said it was like way more than what it is.
Yeah, it's like it's such a like. Well, it is a long drive, but like
Oh yeah,
we did talk about this.
uh,
Yeah.
I want to get like right though. It
Yeah.
was let's see. Directions. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is really slow all of a sudden. Yeah, it's 3,369 kilometers.
Oh,
So on
that's
here it says
quite a
if you if you don't stop at all, it would be 34 hours
drive.
without stopping.
That's quite a drive.
So yeah, so I ended up driving all the way out there. I was living in Toronto, which is like our big music hub for Canada.
Yeah.
And I took this program, which was awesome. It was all about the business side of music, which was awesome to learn about.
Yeah. That's
I
important.
absolutely love business. So, and especially as a musician, you don't think of that. You just think, oh, like this is my art,
Oh
and that's it.
no.
So
Oh
it
yeah.
was great to learn, like, the money side of things, and
Yeah.
how to treat your art as a business as well. So it was great. And at that point, in that summer, I created a new persona because I went solo again, and it was called
Mm,
Baby Boy Blue. And
mm,
I really went from, playing pop music in a band. And like at the time, I didn't feel like we really had a musical identity.
mm.
Um, I went complete opposite for this Baby Boy Blue
Yeah.
route that I went. So it was like super um branded. I wanted everything to be like its own little world. Like I wanted it to be like Melanie Martinez, or like Prince,
Mm.
or David Bowie, or like Lana Del Rey was a huge
Okay.
influence as well. So
Okay. Yeah.
everything was like I wore stage makeup, which was like I wore mascara and had it running down. I wore lipstick and like smudged it. So it was like very sad boy
Yeah.
clown look. And
Yeah.
everything was like this dark electro pop, like trippy kind of style of music. Like it was all very
That's very
branded.
different from what you're doing now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And because where I live, everything is very conservative.
Yeah.
Like country music is massive here,
Uh,
blues and grass music is like massive here. So everybody hated it here. Everybody. And it was okay. Like
crowd. Yeah.
uh oh yeah, like, and I really enjoyed it because when I was in Toronto, like Toronto's a lot more progressive compared to Alberta. And when I was living in Toronto, like I wore this full stage makeup and we did a photo shoot like on the busiest street in Toronto.
Mm.
No one even looked at me. Like no one cared.
They're like, oh, another, normal weird guy.
Yeah, another crazy thing happening. And then when I tried to do it in Edmonton, like I literally had a crowd of people like trying to figure out what was happening because it was just that weird. And I was like, "Oh my god." And I had like
Yeah.
people always asking like, "Oh, are you transgender? Are you gay?" Like I had all these like sexuality questions going on. And like I just wanted to do it cuz I really enjoyed like artistic side of it, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed like the branding side of it. And it just got to a point where it's like that's just like I could have kept going with it and been like that's my message, is like, maybe I could have got into like transgender rights, gay rights and stuff like that, but it's just it's not me. Like I'm not gay, I'm not transgender, so it just didn't feel like, it felt kind of weird having like people being like, "Oh, that's what you stand for." And it's like,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people in my life who are transgender and I'm friends with them. I have a lot of gay friends. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not me. And it
Yeah.
felt weird to be like, this is what I'm standing for as a personal objective. And it's like, well, that's just not me.
Mm.
And it just got to a point where it was like every day I would get questions like that. And like, especially on like Instagram and stuff, it was like
Yeah. Yeah.
weird DMs, like people telling me to kill myself because I was gay or transgender. I'm like, I'm not even any of those. And like all my numbers like took a dive, especially because I'm from Edmonton. So like all my
Yeah.
numbers are from Edmonton. And
Yeah.
it was just like, it was very disheartening. And
Wow.
part of me wishes I kind of kept going with it, but it just felt weird and it just sucked.
Mm.
Like, because it was like my brainchild. I like was really enjoying it, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
kind of sucked. So then from there, I went back to just Steven Sware, and I went back to more acoustic music. I started playing farmers markets again,
Yeah.
which are really, really big in Edmonton. Like
Yeah.
right now, I could play a farmers market in the summer, literally every single day of the week.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, like,
That huge? You have them
oh
like
yeah, this summer I was playing at like 12 different ones. Like we have one of the farmers markets here in Edmonton is the biggest one across all of Western Canada.
mm-hmm.
And like you're only busking, you're not getting paid to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And the St. Albert one, it's called the St. Albert Farmers Market. It's just outside of Edmonton.
Yeah.
You're there from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. So you're there for, I don't know, like 5 hours, and you can
Yeah.
make like $2,000 from
What?
busking. Yeah.
Just from busking?
Yeah.
Dang,
And
I
like,
need to go. I need to go
yeah.
there. Like,
And it's great. And like, it was such a great opportunity to have like learning curve. And it was like, when I first started going, it was like music that I only liked. And then I like started learning older covers because I was like, oh, it's like a lot of like middle aged to like older people coming, and like I'm not really getting a lot of money. So then I
yeah,
started learning like older music like Brown Eyed Girl and stuff like that, or like Fishing in the Dark and all the like kind of older songs. And like I just saw like as soon as I did that, it was like it changed from like a nickel or a quarter in the guitar
yeah.
case to like 5, 10, $20 bills, $50 bills, $100 bills. Like people were just
Dang.
like throwing them in. Yeah. And it was great to like learn that side. And like
Yeah,
um I started doing that probably like summer of like 2019. So it's only been like about 2 years of playing farmers markets and stuff, but
yeah,
the amount that I've learned from it and like the amount of performing that I've done in the past
yeah, yeah.
3 years has been insane.
I get that a lot. Like people that bus, like that I've talked to on the podcast that do busking, they're like, it's the most scariest thing you'll ever do, but like the most rewarding. Like you just learn so much when you're like just playing out there, you know?
Yeah. Like I've gotten to the point where like I'm not really afraid to busk or anything like that. It's
Uh,
only sketchy when you're like downtown, just hop in and maybe steal some cash from you. But
yeah.
other than that, like it's not scary at all. Um no, it's weird. And like in Edmonton, like Canada is very like everybody will be, and then after they'll be like, that was terrible.
Oh, so like a typical Canadian thing. I feel like every Canadian is just super nice. They're just always like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is
it's
that true?
for the most part, like Canada's like, I don't know, like everybody's like really, really nice up front. Where like, because I've heard in the States, like if I don't like you, it's like I'll just tell you straight up. Whereas like in Canada, it's like never burn a bridge kind of
Yeah.
idea. So
Yes.
it's like you're always just nice to everyone. And if someone really wrongs you, then it's like, okay, yeah, like we're done.
Okay.
Like that's it. But
Yeah,
you
if
would
you
never.
take up a Canadian, then you've really messed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's when you've messed up big time. So yeah, it's been like all of these learning curves. And like um when I started playing these farmers markets, I was asked to play like different shows and stuff like that. And then I
Yeah.
started getting into weddings. So I started playing a lot of like wedding ceremonies and started writing custom songs for the couples,
Yeah.
and working with the producers. So that was my first like release as Steven Sware,
Mm.
like post Trees EP when I was like 15 or
Yeah.
16. And
Yeah.
I released this song and it's called
It
Time.
takes
And
time. What does it mean? It's not easy to count, and it's not easy to see. We got time, up to what ends.
I really love it, and I love the couple that I wrote it for. And it was just such a special song, and like the story behind it was a really special song. And then I wrote another song called Forever and Always.
Forever and always. When I miss you and want you near, I hold your shirt and you were here. Forever and always.
Which was
Yeah.
for a lady who her husband passed away and she wanted a song for her daughter to walk down the aisle to. So
Yeah.
I did that, and it was great because for those two songs we got to do like a live reaction video where I hired a videographer and we rented
Yeah.
out a space, and I played it for them for the very first time. So like even
Yeah.
the lady who hired me to write the song for her daughter, she only heard like a voice memo version of it. She
Yeah.
didn't hear the final finished
Like
version.
finished.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was awesome to be able to have those experiences. And like I've had a lot of struggles throughout my entire musical career with
Mm.
identity and like what I want my message to be, and like being a white middle class guy, like I haven't really grown up with any struggles, so I
Yeah.
can't really put pain into my music. And
Yeah.
it was all this weird kind of stuff going on for so long. And then after those things, it was like, wow, like I don't have to have some sort of like internal struggle or some
Mhm.
sort of struggle that I grew up with. It could just be writing music that can actually make an impact on someone. So those were like really, really special moments. And yeah, and then with COVID coming into place, um, it was actually weird, like as a musician, because I've played way more than I ever have in my life.
What?
Yeah.
You're like the
So,
first one that's been telling me this.
oh, so in May of 2020, like when COVID was really hitting, and I started doing driveway shows
Uh-huh.
where in a neighborhood someone would hire me and I would come full PA system, and everybody would sit on their own driveway or their own lawn, and I would perform
Oh, how
for
cool is that? That's a good idea.
yeah. So it was a ton of fun. Like I ended up playing from May till October of 2020. I played over 150 shows. Oops. It froze again.
Yeah, it keeps freezing. Yeah, we're trying out this new Wi-Fi thing because usually this is not my normal. This is my new
Oh,
office
yeah.
slash baby room, and so the Wi-Fi is really bad here. And so I got like a little adapter thing, but apparently
Yeah.
it's not working as well as I thought. I'm sorry.
It was working.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, it was, and then it's usually when I start recording that it gets like really weird.
Oh, it's too much for it to handle, maybe.
Yeah, probably. It's like
I don't know.
I need Wi-Fi and I need to record it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
Do a
like
little bit of everything.
yeah, it's like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you did what, 150 shows during
Yeah, so May till October of 2020. So last summer I did 150 shows. And they were all just an hour long. So I played 150 hours throughout the summer. And then the restrictions really came into place,
Yeah.
like starting in November last year. So everything kind of got canceled throughout the Christmas time, and
Mm.
my girlfriend had a
Oh.
really great idea to do Christmas grams
Mm.
last Christmas. So I ended up doing like this thing where someone could hire me, and I would either go to their doorstep or
Uh-huh.
they could send me to someone else's doorstep,
Yeah.
and I would sing 3 Christmas songs. So
Yeah.
like a Christmas gram. And
Oh,
it was awesome. Like I did, I think 50 of them within like a 1 week period right before Christmas.
in a week?
And
50 a week?
yeah,
Did you even
in
sleep
1
at
week.
all? Like,
Oh,
that's
it
like,
was awesome. Like, because I would go to a house and like someone would hire me to go to their grandmother's house. Cause in Canada, like, or in Alberta specifically, like we weren't allowed to have Christmas with our family. Like everything was really shut down. So
uh,
everybody was sad, especially the seniors. Like they
yeah.
couldn't see any of their family. So it was really, really nice to be able to sing for family members who couldn't see their family. And they were, a lot of them were all alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really special. And what would happen is I would sing for them, and then they would say, well, oh, like, can you go to my, my uncle's house or my friend's house? And I'd say, oh, sure. And be like, oh, it's like $50. And they're like, sure, here. And then I would go. So I go house to house to house.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm going to be doing that again this Christmas. And we'll see with the
Nice.
restrictions. Like I might be able to do Christmas parties, like office parties and stuff, but
Yeah.
we'll kind of wait and see. And then this summer has been even more insane because in Alberta, they opened everything, no restrictions.
Mm.
It was like a
Yep.
free for all, which was
He's
not the
talking
best
about that.
decision because
Yeah.
we're locked back down pretty much. And
Mm.
but it was insane. So like from July 1st, like they opened it up Canada Day, July 1st, and then September 1st, some restrictions came back into place. And in that 2-month period, I ended up playing like farmers markets. I ended up playing weddings. I played everything and anything. And I ended up playing over 150 hours within a 2-month period. Whereas the summer before, I played 150 hours from May till October.
Yeah.
So this summer has been even more intense, and it's been wild.
Wow.
But it's starting to slow down because the weather is getting cooler here
Yeah,
and all that,
probably.
which
It's like
sucks. But
freezing. It's like you get like even, I think it gets cold here in Germany, but like
yeah,
Canada, dude, like
how cold does it get? You guys have Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Celsius.
Okay, good. Yeah, we
So
do
you
too.
too? Okay, yeah. So we
Yeah,
get
I think
like
the States are the only one that uses
yeah,
Fahrenheit, I
yeah,
think.
that's a weird one, but
Yeah,
anyways, yeah, so we get up to like minus 10 degrees Celsius.
that's it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow, you guys are lucky.
Yeah.
We got last year with wind chill, there was a 2-week period where it was minus 50.
Celsius? Degrees Celsius?
Yeah, yeah. Minus
Minus
50.
what? Like
Yeah.
that freezes like all and like everything. You can't even go.
Oh,
It's
like when you walk out, it like, and
just like freeze
Alberta's
up.
really dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it like stings. Like it feels like someone's just
Yeah.
punching you in the face with ice. It sucks.
Oh my gosh. Like that, like
Yeah.
last year, and this is like a little sidetrack, but I just have like this little car and I
Yeah.
prefer it because I can park everywhere. And so
That's so European.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
our parking spots aren't that big. And so we're just like, and so I was on my way to work and I was late. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I have to scrape off my car, blah, 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 got that done. And then I want to get into my car and my entire door froze shut. So
Really?
yes, so I don't even understand how you can do with like minus 50 degrees Celsius,
Oh.
because
Well, it's bad because you have to wash your car here.
yeah.
And like if you wash your car, and then you leave it outside, like where you put your key in,
Yeah.
like you can't even it freezes over it. So you have to get out there with an extension cord and a hair dryer
Yeah.
and like literally heat it up until it thaws out. I
Oh,
made that mistake one too many times.
oh gosh, I can't even. No, Yeah, no, I can't deal with that. Yeah, no, basically, what happened is I ripped off my door handle out of my car because I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, I'm just like, this is not opening, and then all of a sudden, like, I had my door handle in my hand, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, how am I gonna get into
Oh
my
yeah.
car now? Like,
Oh, that's the worst.
so I
But
don't
like
know how you
everybody here,
handle.
how do you drive? Like, do you guys get a lot of snow where you're at?
Yeah, we do get a lot of snow,
Do
but
you only drive a little car in it?
yeah, it is. Sometimes I have to put like some weights in there because it gets too
Yeah,
light
yeah.
and I start sliding everywhere.
Right.
So yeah, plus I like live in the mountains as well. And so I need like
Oh,
those what are they
like
called?
chains?
Yeah, so I have to put chains on my back tires.
Right.
So I can even get home because sometimes I'm like,
Right.
am I gonna get home tonight? Am I not? Like,
Right.
they don't after a certain,
Everybody here.
yeah. So it's after a certain
Oh,
time they don't shovel snow anymore, and so I'm like,
right.
"Ooh." Like,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Everybody in Alberta drives lifted trucks, so
yeah, okay. Well, you kind of have to if
yeah.
it's like that cold. You probably get way much more snow than we do.
Well, it's weird. Like we'll get like 2 feet or 3 feet of snow, and guys in lifted trucks on our like highway where you're going like 100 kilometers an hour, they're going like 130, and there's like this much snow on the road. You're like, relax, like, oh my God, it sucks. I don't know. I feel like I'm like so over it. Like with COVID and stuff in Alberta, it's been a lot to listen to where like everything is a hoax, everything's a conspiracy, where it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I would love to move to like somewhere in Europe right now.
Yeah, you should. Now it kind of depends on where you're going, what flights you're taking, but
Right.
to a certain degree, it would be possible.
Yeah.
So,
Everything's a mess right now.
oh yeah, tell me about
Oh
it.
my
But it
God.
seems like you found really good ways to like still like you made the best out of it. I've talked with a lot of
Yeah.
musicians on here, and like the majority have been like really struggling because they're like, it's only about like recording music and everything. I
Right.
like you found a way to like really like multiply, like change and adapt really to the situation, which is like really cool ideas. Like I love the Christmas thing. I love how music connects people, because one thing you said through
Oh,
weddings, right? And then the second one was for Christmas.
yeah.
Seeing all these people, and then it's just like this domino effect. It's like, oh, can you go to my uncle? Can you go to my grandma?
Yeah.
So I think,
Oh,
what was your experience? Just you're the one that's like delivering joy to someone's doorstep. Like,
yeah.
it's
It's
very unique
well,
perspective.
even like when I first started doing the driveway shows, like at that point, because COVID hit Canada like end of February, I think.
Mhm.
So February, March, April, May. Like there was about like 4 or 5 months where like people in Canada, like at that point we were locked down, like you weren't even allowed to leave your house really.
Same.
So
Yeah.
and then in May they started like kind of reopening stuff and you were allowed to be outside. So
Yeah.
it was like people's first time being able to be outside and like do something. Cause
Mm,
like I think before COVID, everybody was like really um like they were just like taking advantage of stuff. Like they were like, oh, there's music here, like whatever. Or like
yeah.
if you
Yeah.
didn't overly like the musician, you would tell them they suck. Like
Yeah.
and even if they were good, but like you just didn't like the song they were playing, like people
Yeah.
would just be like, oh, you suck or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like
That one song.
it
Yeah.
was yeah, and it was really cool to like go to a community and like they have like a cul-de-sac where the houses are like in a circle and you play
Mm,
for all of the neighborhood and people were just really happy and
mhm,
it was just really nice to have a very positive thing happening in
mm,
such a negative and dark time like
yeah.
because everybody thought that the world was ending, right?
Yeah.
So it was like
Seemed like it. Yeah.
yeah, and like I don't know, it was just really really fun. It was really nice and people were just excited to be
Mm,
able to do something. They were excited to hear live music. Like
yeah.
I think that was the biggest part of it, was just the excitement of
Mm,
something.
mhm,
And it was the same with the Christmas grams. Like, people were locked, and at that point, like in Canada during winter, like we'll only get like 3, 4, 5 hours of sunlight.
mhm.
So then,
Oh,
like,
yeah, true. Yeah.
yeah, like we don't really get a lot of sun during the day. So then you
Yeah.
have to deal with a lot of people here get seasonal depression,
Oh,
where it's like
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
living in darkness all
Yeah.
day, every day.
Yeah, it's the same with Alaska,
Especially,
right? They have the same
right.
same thing.
Oh, and they're even worse. And it's
Yeah.
like, but like when you go to, like, let's say you go to your work and you're there before the sun comes up, and then by the time you're leaving to go home, the sun's
The
already
sun
down.
is, oh
So
my
you
gosh.
miss everything, right?
True,
And
yeah.
like you're dealing with not only seasonal depression, you're dealing with, well, everything's locked down. I can't see anyone. I can't go do
Mm,
anything. So you're even
mm,
more sad because of that. And then on top of that, now Christmas is canceled. The
yeah.
government said nobody can go see their family. And like they were handing out like thousands of dollars of fines if they caught you. Like
Uh,
on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, people
yeah.
were driving around, or cops were driving around neighborhoods,
Mm,
because you could tell there would be 6 cars at a house.
yeah.
They would
Yeah.
knock on the door, and every person there would get like $1,000 ticket.
Mm,
So it was just, everything was so sad. It
yeah.
wasn't even like, that kind of like negative attitude. It was just like everything's depressing.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
is good, right? So it was just really nice. And like, especially the seniors who were like, they don't really get to see their family because everybody's moved out. So like Christmas is like the time to be
Mm,
with family, and
yeah.
you could tell like it was very painful for them. So being able to sing some songs and just say, "Oh, this is from your son, this is from your daughter," it
Yeah.
it was
Oh.
it was just really nice to be that kind of vessel of
Mhm.
a message from one family member to another.
It's
Yeah.
making me cry, and I'm just gonna blame it on the like pregnancy hormones.
Yeah.
Because that's what I get to do.
Yeah.
But it's just nice. I think that's what I didn't think I'm gonna get so emotional doing that, but um, I just love what music does. I love what I think that's what personally like fascinates me about music. It's not just a job that we
Right.
do, or something that is just, oh, you do that and then it's over or something. It's like people will remember that. People will remember, hey, this guy Steven showed up at my doorstep and he played me songs for Christmas when I was all
Yeah.
alone, right? And you get, be that, like you said, that vessel in a very depressing time. And I
Right.
don't see any other tool or really thing that can do that for someone else. Like they send a person to play music. Like how
Hmm.
interesting is that? They don't send someone to bring, sometimes they bring food and you can,
Right.
do stuff like that, but not really like I think that shows just that emotional connection that music has and brings up in people that
Right.
nothing else can.
Yeah, and like for a lot of the seniors that I played for, like, because I would stand like 6 feet back, I would stand 10, 15 feet back.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta have like
And
really loud vocals. Very strong.
oh yeah. And but it was like, for a lot of these seniors, like their family members would drop off food for them because the
Yeah.
seniors couldn't go to grocery store. So for months and months and months, like they would be able to say hi through a window. You can't really talk to them. You can't do
Mhm.
anything. So for a lot of them, like this Christmas gram was the first human connection they had in months. Like
Yeah.
it was good. Like, and I wanted to just do it to, there was the money aspect where it's like, well, I got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
And, like I live in an apartment, like I got bills to pay. So
Yeah.
that urgency really did affect it. But it was like, once I started doing it, and Morgan thought up of this idea just to do something nice. And it was
Mhm.
like, um, like, you know, doing what I was doing, I could have charged $200 for 3
Yeah.
songs, but I wanted it to be
Exactly.
a little bit cheaper so everybody could do it.
Mm,
And but once I started doing it, it was like, oh, this is just like something really, really nice to do. Like,
mm,
it had nothing to do with the money. It had nothing to do with getting my name out there as brand
mhm.
recognition. It was
Yeah.
just
You're
being
putting
able to do
Christmas
something
songs,
nice.
like, not originals, right? It's just
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, and
that's so
even like the
funny.
driveway shows that I was doing, like I will only play maybe one original. Like
Yeah,
I don't play my own music because it's, when someone's hiring you to play music for their entire community, it's
yeah.
not,
It's not
they're
about
not hiring you as an artist. They're hiring you to play music that they know, that they want to sing, that they want to
yeah,
dance to. So
yeah.
it's just bringing the familiarity to them, and having fun and having a good time.
Mm. That yeah, that's
So
very special. Yeah, but I mean, again, like you could be doing so many different things. Like if you were just like, oh, it's just about the money, right? You could be like,
yeah.
I want to charge more, and I'm going to do something completely different. But
Oh yeah.
because because your heart is in the right place, you're like, no, I'm doing this. And the cool thing is I can make some money, but I don't have to charge as much, because like somebody could be like really take advantage and be like, see this like as a, oh, this is like a market that
Oh
be
yeah.
like, oh, I'll
Like it was,
charge ridiculous amount, like $500 to sing like a couple of songs, right? And totally take
oh
advantage of
yeah.
that gap.
Well,
um
and that's the thing. It was an entire monopoly. There
yeah,
was no one
yeah,
else doing it, where I was at. So it was like,
yeah.
and yeah, like um because nobody could have Christmas, like nobody was really buying presents for each other.
Mm,
So like you could have like thought, well, nobody's buying presents, so they have extra cash lying
extra
around, so
credit,
I
yeah.
could charge $500 for this. But
Mhm.
it wasn't about that. It was
Yeah,
just I wanted to charge like the bare minimum
yeah.
to cover gas and for the time that I would have to spend, and just go and do something. That was pretty
Mhm.
much it. Yeah.
Wow, wow, yeah, you should keep doing that. That's really cool. uh
Yeah, I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing it this Christmas, and I'm recording a Christmas cover. I just went to the studio yesterday, so I'm excited for that to come out as well, and
Ooh,
just keep
nice.
kind of trucking along. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, talking about like original stuff, because the funny thing is I found you through Fired Up, but then I like looked through your
Right.
other stuff, and it's so funny because the ones that like really, hit me somehow was Time and Forever and Always. And
Yeah.
and then I went on your YouTube channel, and then I found out like this is why, you don't really know the story behind the songs.
Yeah.
um and then I saw your YouTube channel. I'm like, this makes so much sense now, why these songs are just,
Oh, yeah.
they just hit you differently.
Yeah.
How is that when you're like writing a song for someone else? Like, what are like maybe the challenges that come with it, and like, but also the freedom? Like, do you feel any pressure when you're like writing for someone else? You're like, oh my gosh, like I hope they like it,
No.
or is it like complete opposite?
It's I am like, I've grown up with a lot of mental health issues. Like I have really bad anxiety, I have really bad depression. So
Mm,
when I'm writing for myself, I'm very, very, very critical.
yeah.
Everything I'll do, I'll say, no, this is garbage.
Mm,
Uh and then like with the Time song, it was the first song that I wrote for a couple, and it was
yeah.
it was it was amazing because we went to a Starbucks and we sat there for 2.5 hours. And before the meeting, I was like, think of any story you can, think of anything within your relationship that might be a good for a song. And they came prepared. They brought like a whole booklet of like
Oh, wow.
stories on stories,
Yeah.
and little things about their relationship. Cause I was like, anything small, like, does he steal your socks, or does she steal
Mhm.
your socks, or
Yeah.
stuff like
Like wear your
anything, because
blanket.
those are the best. Yeah, because those are the best songs. It's like
Yeah.
something so personal to you, but it could be taken by anybody else. And we sat there for 2.5 hours, and they had some really good ideas. And then I was like, okay, like nothing was really sticking out. But I was like, oh, okay, like I can make something work. And then I was like, is there anything else? And I was like, was there even like, do you guys have matching tattoos? And they were like, oh yeah, we do.
Mhm.
And in my head, I was like, that should have been the first thing that you guys told me. And but their tattoos, they both had it was saying, and it was uh in this lifetime and in the next. So they both believe that in a past lifetime we're together, in this lifetime they're together, and like every lifetime after that they'll be together. Their
Together.
souls will be connected.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that's where time comes from. It was just the song about,
Yeah.
there is no construct of time when you're talking about love and a relationship. So
Yeah.
as soon as they said that, I was like, that's it. That's
Yeah.
the song.
That's so
And forever and always, I sat with the lady. Her husband passed away. It was coming up on his fourth or fifth year of like the day that he passed away, and
Mhm.
he passed away from heart conditions. And
Mhm.
they had 3 daughters, and 2 out of the 3 were married. The third one, I think, was dating, or she was recently engaged. And um lady who got me to do this, she was dating someone new, and he actually came, and she sat there, and it was the most emotional conversation I've ever had with someone. Like, she was crying the whole time just talking about him, and she would just tell me stories about him and how he was and how he was with the children. And
Yeah.
um and when he passed away, they took some of his old shirts and they actually sewed it to a pillow.
Oh,
And so on these pillows, they wrote like, I'm trying to remember, but it was like, if you ever miss me, hold me tight.
When I miss you and want you near, I hold your shirt and you were here forever and always. Forever and always.
Or something like that. And so that is also a lyric in this song. It's like, hold
uh,
my shirt if you ever miss me, or hold me tight. So it was incredible to have. It's so crazy to have like a 2 or 3 hour conversation with someone and
turn it into
uh talk about all their history, all their stories, and how they were with everyone. And then they say like one small thing, and it's like, oh, that's the idea for the
that's the
song.
thing.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's where those 2 songs kind of came from. And it was, I wasn't really supposed to release them. They were just meant to be for them. And then I asked them like, could I release these? And
Yeah.
they were like, oh yeah, for sure. So
Oh,
I
that's
released them.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm
then now
glad
I have,
you already did.
yeah. And now I have 2 new originals. I have a song called Back to You. And
Hey, used to spend all my time building castles in Spain. Now I'm running away with you. Built a house and a home, fall in love, fall again. Got me running right back to you.
then Fired Up, the
Fired
one
Up,
that,
yeah.
that you heard. So
I'm fired up, I'll die if I don't feel your touch. I'm burning up, so kiss me, show me love. There's a line I'll cross 1,000 times just to keep you in my life.
Back to You was, I've been dating my girlfriend. She was actually the very first driveway concert I played. She hired me. So last May of 2020, and it's funny because like
Coming full circle. I love
oh
it.
yeah, and we've been talking kind of off and on for the past, like, I think she said like 4 or 5 years. Like, we matched on Tinder like a long time ago and nothing really happened. And then like I would slide into her DMs, but she was dating someone, and then she would slide
Oh,
into my DMs when she
okay.
became single, but I
Yeah.
was dating someone. So it was just timing. And then
Timing was always off.
yeah, and then right before COVID hit, we started talking and we were gonna hang out, and then COVID hit, and we just didn't end up doing it. And then I posted that I was doing driveway shows, and
Yeah.
for her, like her parents usually go on a date night every Friday, and because of COVID, they weren't able to.
Oh,
So,
my parents do that too. It's really smart.
oh really?
Yeah, every
And
Friday. Yeah.
oh really?
Yeah.
So they her and her siblings did like a 5-course meal, and then she hired me because they really like live music,
Yeah.
and it was like a surprise to the end of the night. So after that, we kind of started talking, and then we started dating, and she came and slept over one night, and then it was like I don't think we've spent a night apart from each other since like maybe mid-May.
Oh.
So now we live together. We have an apartment in Edmonton, and
Yeah.
she does photography and I do music, so we're kind of trucking along with that.
Ooh,
And
that's a good combo.
yeah, so it's been a lot of fun, and it was great. Like because of COVID, like it's weird to think about it, but there's so many negatives going on with COVID. But like for us, like COVID was really surprisingly like positive on a relationship aspect. Like
Yeah.
we started dating, but we couldn't do literally anything. So we would
Yeah.
sit in the car for literally 5 or 6 hours and just talk
Yeah.
about everything and anything. So our relationship went from like, dating to like very serious, very, very fast,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there was no like awkward stuff where like if you go on a date and you go to the movie, well, 3 hours of it, you're
You
like
can't talk,
awkwardly, yeah,
right?
you're just
It's
sitting
like,
there. Or even if you go for dinner, it's like there could be that awkward thing, but
yeah.
there's no distractions. It's just you and them.
Yeah. You
So it's
actually have to
just,
talk with each other, like, go figure.
yeah. And it was great because our conversation was so easy. Like that we weren't awkward. There was nothing weird. Like it just felt very easy and good. So I wrote the song as a surprise for our 1-year anniversary, and
Oh.
it was funny. Like I wrote it with my really good friend Adam Ambrose, who's like this like TikTok star, and
Uh,
he helped me write it, and it was awesome. And he was trying to get me to go on TikTok more, and I
oh,
hate TikTok. Like every time I post, I only get like 20 views, and it really ticks me off. But he was like, man, like he's like what are you doing like as the surprise? And I was like, well, like I like to share like the process of the song. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, you can't do that because then she'll find out. And I was like, well, what if I like block her? So I ended up blocking her on social media, and like on my TikTok there's like actually videos of it where like I was sitting in this chair and she like comes in and she's like, why am I like blocked on everything? Because like, oh, you want to come up? Sorry, he wants to come in.
Oh yeah, little puppy.
The puppy's coming to cuddle.
Yeah.
And she was like, why did you block me? And I was like, oh my god. And it was funny because I was in the middle of recording like it was such weird timing because I was in the middle of recording a cover,
Yeah.
and she walked in like in the middle of it.
Oh no.
Oh my god. So
did you
there's like a video
tell her?
on TikTok. I was like, oh, like I don't even know what I told her. I was like, okay, just wait, like go sit on the couch, like I'll come talk to you, just like give me a second. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
oh, I have a surprise for you, like, but you can't see because like I'm posting about it. And but then it was great because I recorded the song, and then I did this other video where I showed her the song for the very first time in our car, and it was really emotional and it was sweet. So it was just a lot of fun. And like the song just talks about like my relationship with her and always coming back to her and having those emotional feelings, and having like I've had some pretty bad relationships in the past, like not
Yeah.
only romantic but also like business wise. Like I've had a lot of people kind of destroy my self-worth and my emotional capacity and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
we've had a lot of dark and long conversations about my past and where I'm coming from. And it's the same with her. Like everybody goes through stuff, right? So
Yeah, totally.
but it was great to be open and honest about my past relationships and telling her what I've been through. And it's nothing serious. Like there's nothing like, oh my god, someone's going to jail for it. But it was just emotional
Yeah.
stuff. And you know, it kind of messes with you, especially if you go from one relationship to another. And
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, he's poking his head up here.
Keeps
And
licking the mic before
I know.
he licks the mic.
Yeah.
We're
Come
talking about
here.
a
It's
dog
okay.
for those that
Yeah, yeah.
in the
I'm not the
podcast.
one licking the mic. Yeah.
The Walter the dog, the little puppy, is licking the mic every
Yeah.
now and again.
So yeah,
Clarify.
it was just yeah. So it's just a song about my relationship and you know, previous relationships and working through those troubles and always having not just a relationship but just like a friend to talk to and someone to really trust and always come back to and have that with. So that's where that song kind of all came from. So that was a really special song. And then Fired Up was just a song that I wrote like 4 years ago, and it was pure emotion. And I was like, I just want to have a song where it's like you just want to yell it out,
Yeah.
and it's just pure emotions. So that's where that song kind of came from. It was nothing really, sorry, nothing really from my like story or from my history or my life. It was just a pure emotional song that I really
Yeah.
wanted to write. Wait, sorry, he's barking at me. Do you want to come back up?
It's like, you just put me down, pick me back up.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
poor guy. Oh yeah, he's coming back up. Come on. Okay. There we go. How about this? I'll hold you like a baby.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
He doesn't understand why I'm talking to no one.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? It must be really confusing for a dog. Be like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like, so Fired Up, you wrote 4 years ago. What made you like come back to that? Be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna release it.
Well, like speaking of like past relationships and stuff like that, and like I was sort of working with this guy who's like a manager, and it was just a terrible, terrible kind of relationship where everything I would show him, he was like, this is shit. Like straight up. He's like, no, this isn't good. And so like my self-confidence with music was like shattered. Like it was so bad because I was coming off of having this awesome idea of Baby Boy Blue that I was really excited about. It was fully like this entire universe. I had an idea of where I was going. It was like finally clicking. And to have all these people saying negative things, and I was coming away from that, and I didn't know where I was really going. I didn't know my story. I didn't know anything. And to have someone like, you know, when you're trying to figure it out and someone just saying, oh no, this is garbage, it's like, oh, why do I keep trying then? And so I wrote that song with these two producers. It was just like these two guys were like, oh, we've heard about you so much, like we want to work with you. And I said, oh, okay, sure, like, well, let's hop in the studio. And we hopped in the studio, and it was really nice because we just did like a little demo for free. And I was like, oh, I really want to work with you guys. And like 2 years later, we finally got together and recorded 5 songs, which is like Back to You is one of them, Fired Up is one of them. And I prepaid for the songs, and then I just didn't know where I was really going yet. And I was like, I just really like Fired Up. I love the energy in it. And it was something that like, it was the thing that started our relationship business wise between myself and the two producers I was working with. And it was like, it was something that we worked on together from the scratch. And it was just, it just felt right to kind of complete it. And I really liked the emotions behind it and the fast paced energy of it and stuff like that. So it was just, you know, we worked on it before, and I was like, instead of trying to write another new song that I'm not even sure about and trying to waste money in the studio, like, because I'm not that kind of writer that like I'll write 20 songs a day. I have a really hard time doing that just because in the past I've been told every idea is garbage. So it's like I'm very self-critical about everything I do. I'm starting to get a little bit better with it. So I'm starting to write a little bit more, but it's just a slow process of chipping away of getting rid of those feelings. So it was just a decision made when we were writing and recording the songs. So so yeah, that's the second song. And then I have a Christmas song coming out, and then I have a new track that's going to be called New Romantics. That's going to
Ooh.
come out, I think, mid to end of January, and
Uh,
I'm really really excited because it's a very um, vibey song, or it's like a very groovy song, and it's
mm,
nothing like what I've released, like production wise. Like it's all like acoustic guitar. It's very live, instrument made.
mm.
So I'm just really really excited. There's some funk guitar in there. There's some like Beatles ahs in there where they do like the layer like and
Yeah,
it's like all the voices come together. So there's a
yeah.
little bit of that. There's
Oh,
acoustic
nice.
guitar in there, which is a lot more me, and I'm just really excited. I showed my radio tracker guy, my guy that runs my radio ads, and I was thinking about releasing it in the next month, and he's like, "No, man, like you got to wait because if you release too close to Christmas, the
Mm,
radios won't take it because they don't want new
that's
original
true.
music." So we decided, oh, let's put out a Christmas cover, and then we'll come back to the song because he was really excited about it. So,
Yeah.
which
Ooh,
makes me even more excited about
nice.
releasing it. So, yeah.
Well, I'm so
So,
pumped that you're putting out music. Like seriously, I don't care what everyone else says, but like what I've heard so far is like great. And the only thing,
thank you.
I think it's just keep writing music, just keep writing it, keep writing it, keep writing. I think that's
Oh yeah,
no, like I feel like everyone kind of feels like that. We were like, oh, it's good enough, and we're so self-critical, and then we listen to other people that most of the time have no idea, or they're just having a bad day, or you never know what's going on in there,
yeah,
right? Because you
oh
you
yeah,
can ask like 100 people, and 50 will say, oh, this is crap, and then 50 will say, I absolutely love it, right? So it's not, music is not a math where it's like right or wrong. It's like
right,
it's an opinion, like either you like it or you don't. And so
yeah. So you
yeah,
got to trust your own personal
yeah,
emotions too, and that's the hard part. And then it's just really tough, like because of Spotify, like that's completely changed the game. Where it's like
yeah,
if you don't have 100,000 minimum streams, like people just will scroll past your song because they're like, oh, this isn't worth it,
yeah,
right? So it is a numbers game now, which really does suck. Like it's
yeah,
become this weird popularity contest, and the editorial playlist where they have 1 million followers. If you don't get on those, you're screwed.
mm,
Like if I like I was lucky to get on a few um personal playlists, not editorial, but they were algorithmic and stuff
yeah,
like that, where
yeah,
they had 20,000 followers. So I
mm,
was lucky to get on to even those. But I haven't been lucky enough to get on an editorial playlist, but
yeah,
it's just luck. Like you got to keep releasing music, and eventually maybe one will get flagged by Spotify and they'll like it. And because I have another friend who was added to an editorial playlist, and then he's like, it's weird, like you get past that gate and it's like every song after that, it's almost like you're flagged,
yeah,
and you get added to the editorial playlist every single time.
yeah.
Hi.
Yeah,
Wants to come.
no, but yeah. Oh, the
So,
Wi-Fi.
oh,
Are we back? Okay. My Wi-Fi is a little flaky today,
oh, that's okay.
but yeah, anyways, but I just want to acknowledge you for what you're doing, and that you're keep going, and you're doing such amazing things, just within your
Thank you.
neighborhood, and just helping out, just really using the power of music. I think, yeah, we kind of look for this popularity thing, but at the end of the day, like I love music because it speaks more than anything else can, and it just
Right.
connects people on a level that nothing else can. And I mean, I can
Right.
go really
Oh
deep
yeah, for sure.
into like how the brain waves work and how music affects the body, and I'm not going to get into that, but it's just
Right.
amazing how fast music connects people, and how it connects
Yeah.
ourselves, and then how it connects us to other people. And so I just love how you just kind of tapped into that. If it was like writing wedding songs for people, or if it was, knocking on people's door for Christmas and singing for them,
Right.
or releasing your own music, I think it's like the scariest thing. So
Oh, by far.
Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. Thank you for putting out music,
Thank
for
you.
not giving up and just, sticking with
Yeah.
that. And I'm glad I found you, I'm glad.
Oh, me too. This has been such a cool interview and it's been a ton of fun. Like I've honestly never done like an interview like this before and
Yeah.
it's just very conversational. I like it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank
that's
you
what
for having me
yeah,
and for reaching out with the voice message.
that I know is really can go in a very different direction, but
Yeah.
I got it. Uh, yeah, no, but I say interview, but what I really hope it feels like a normal conversation between two musicians, and that,
Right.
that's what I hope for, at least, I hope
Right.
that's how it comes across. Um,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, so that's why it's for musicians from musicians. That's what this entire podcast is for. We're all just kind of figuring out, we're all struggling. I think as soon as we say, you know what, I'm struggling too, and you're like, what? I thought it was the only one struggling
Yeah.
with depression, but now I have like so many episodes on here where we just talk about like mental health and mindset for musicians.
Right.
And then you say like you struggle with that as well, and like all of a sudden it's not this like I'm weird and I'm the only one struggling with this at all of a sudden it's this open conversation where you're like, this has worked for
Everybody
me, or
is.
this hasn't, or whatnot, right? Or
Yeah. Oh, for
you'll,
sure.
I took a hit from like everyone telling me like this is crap or whatnot. Like we all just struggle with that. But I think once
Oh, yeah.
it's out there, it doesn't seem as frightening anymore. I think it's just like, oh,
No.
okay,
And
like
it's just trying to figure out your mindset and not letting that stuff kind of affect you, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can sit
Yeah,
and dwell on what they've said, but it's it's hard. It's easier said than done, but you got to really take everything with a grain of salt. Even positive
totally.
stuff
Yeah,
is what the best thing that I've learned is if you get positive criticism, you be nice and you take it, but you don't let it get to your head. And it's the
yeah,
same with negative
totally.
criticism. It's just try to stay as neutral as you can.
Mm.
It's weird because it's very pessimistic to think about, but like you just can't get excited about stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's got to go on a walk today, I think. Hi.
Yeah, he's like, I have one last question
Okay.
that I like to ask people. It's a very simple question, but I found that it's probably the hardest one to answer.
Okay.
So we'll see. There's no right or wrong answer with this. This is the good thing about it. But what makes a good song for you?
What makes a good song for me? Oh my God, I don't know. It's just emotion and feelings, I think. Like it's just I'm very more on the melody side rather than the lyric side. I'm not a very big lyricist. Like
Yeah.
I can sing just a melody without saying words and I'll love it.
Yeah.
And I think that really speaks to BTS being like the biggest boy band in the world and they're from Korea. Like
yeah.
and their songs were blowing up in the States and they were singing in like they weren't singing in English, but they were blowing up. It's like
Yeah.
at some point lyrics really don't matter.
Yeah.
And past people that I've worked with, they would spend 3 hours deciphering if they should use the word the here. And it's like it doesn't matter. Like nobody cares about the lyrics unless they're sitting and they got their eyes closed and they're listening in a dark room. Like no one really cares about that stuff. Like and not to say that not everybody cares, but like for the majority, like people just want to have fun and they just want to feel. It's all an emotional game. They just want to feel that, and lyrics can deliver that, but I feel like the emotion can be portrayed through the rhythm, the sound, the instruments, and the melody before lyrics can even start. So I would say the music side is what makes a good song for me.
Yeah.
I think that's a really tough question though.
Yeah.
And my answer may rub some people the wrong way. Someone that's listening to this that's all about lyrics is gonna be like, screw that guy from Canada.
Yeah, that's why there's no wrong or right answer. Like it's everyone's like, again, music is like objective, like it's either you like it or you don't. And like
Yeah.
it's so funny because I pretty much ask this at the end of every interview, and so far I've gotten like pretty much every answer was different. So that's why it's like that's why I love asking it, because I'm like, for me it's like all about the lyrics, not to that extent, but I'm like, I love the lyrics, I love listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, okay, what do you have to say? But like not to like a nitty-gritty extent to be like, oh, is this the right,
Yeah.
but and the emotion, like, does it hit me, like does it say something? And so it's like, no, screw the lyrics, like I just like a great beat. And you know, and
it depends what kind of music you're putting out too, like like if you're putting out like dance music, like
I was just about to say,
no one cares about the lyrics at all. Like everybody wants to be drunk or high and they just want to dance, like
exactly,
that's it.
Yeah.
Or if you're sitting in an auditorium, you're all about the lyrics, right?
Yeah,
like you're
exactly.
literally sitting in a seat trying to understand what is happening. So
totally.
it depends what kind of person you are, it depends what kind of listener you are, and it's subjective.
Yeah, totally. So where can people find you? Where can they check you out? Where can people find your music and all the goodies?
Everywhere. I'm on every social media platform. I'm on all of like the music platforms as well at Steven Sware. So Steven with a V, and my last name is Sware. And yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify,
everywhere.
Deezer, like everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. It's like hard not to find you. Yeah. I definitely had no trouble finding you. I found like YouTube and Instagram and Spotify, and
awesome.
Look you up on Apple Music because apparently there's music on there I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go to that one. That's okay. To hear me at 15 years old, you can hear the progression from the get-go till now.
That's good.
And it's so.
If go ahead. Sorry.
It's like really awkward because like I'll go play a show and someone's like, oh, I looked you up because I didn't know who you were, obviously. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, wow, I really love that song Trees on your Trees EP. And I'm like,
oh no, you
oh my God. Yeah, I was like, I recorded that like 10 years ago, and they're like, wow, I really enjoyed it. I was like, thank you, but I hate it.
That's when they're gonna be diehard fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
At the same time, like if you wouldn't be able to like look back and be like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like that means you're growing. So it's actually like a good thing when you you can actually say, oh, I can do much better now. Especially
but it's also like having like a picture from like junior high, but it's like out for everyone to see all day, every day.
That's true.
There's a big difference in it, and it's really unsettling.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so you have a Christmas song also coming out, like a cover, you said, Christmas cover.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm doing a cover of Baby Please Come Home, like the Christmas song by Darlene Love.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited. It's like the one that's like all the voices are like Christmas, and then she's like the snow's falling down. That one. It's like real upbeat and cheery. And we actually flipped it because the lyrics are really, really sad.
Yeah.
So we did like a power or like a piano ballad of the song. So it's got piano, which I haven't really done before. It's got strings in it. So I'm really excited. Yeah. So I don't know when that's going to come out. It's going to come out probably end of November, I think.
Yeah.
That's kind of
like when all the Christmas songs are basically coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Try to bring it out a little bit earlier, so we'll see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to keep you any longer because I want to appreciate your time. And
thank you.
A little over our time. So
it's been a ton of fun, so that's okay.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, especially when I'm talking about music. That's why I have a clock like right here, so it's like constantly a reminder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because then I'll be my first ever interview I did was like 2 hours, over 2 hours, and I'm like, I can't do 2 hours every
really?
time. That's a long. So like an hour is usually
Yeah.
my cutoff. But yeah, so
Right.
thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It was a ton of fun. It was great to meet you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Musician Secrets podcast. I appreciate your time because you could literally be doing a bazillion other things right now, but you're here with me, so thank you. If you want, you can scroll all the way to the bottom and leave a comment on how you're liking the podcast, what you've learned, and things you've even implemented that have helped you out. As a little thank you, I put together a free members area with all my best resources, books, podcasts, and online courses about everything you need to know as an independent musician, from producing to songwriting to marketing to building a home studio, all the good stuff. All you have to do is either click the link below or go to alisekoa.com/free. I'll see you on the other side. Bye.
It takes time. What does it mean? It's not